Hello, good morning, class of 2019. Thank you so much for having me. It is an incredible honor to stand here before you today. Thank you to the faculty, to the guests, to the families, and to all the Georgia students among us who are beyond the shadow of a doubt, nursing, raging in havers, and brain that this Disney princess keeps the let it go. Metaphors to ominiums, so I see you, I got you. I want to start today by sharing a secret about myself that you might not know. I didn't graduate from college. Then is in a full flow of sweet thinking. Oh my god, nobody double checked. I had a feeling when I saw her outfit because no one with a respectable degree would wear hopes of that size who let her in here. But that leads me to another thing about me, which is I'm nice, and as it turns out, when you are nice, people tend to overlook a lot. In some cases, this could include experience, credential, not having your driver's license at airport security. And yes, that's true story twice. And you might say, Kristen, no, that's not a result to being nice. That's the result and the privilege of being a recognizable person. And okay, that may be true, but I will counter with my husband, who is also highly recognizable and doesn't get away with anything. Literally 10 out of 10 times he's getting a pat down of the SA, and that's because he's just not as nice as me. Don't get me wrong, I love him. He's brilliant, he's hilarious, he's literally my favorite person, but he's even nicest person. And I don't know, guys, I just don't know. And I tell you this at the risk of divorce because I can't offer you the tricks of how to wield your shining diploma to ensure success. I can't tell you the answer to the age-old actor's dilemma. Should I move to New York? Should I stay in LA? And for goodness sakes, I cannot tell you what a Magna Carta is or what it even does. I don't know. I don't have to answer any of this question. And let me tell you a secret, and nobody has to the answer to this question. My sole trick to share with you is when you really listen to people, when you listen as firstly as you want to be heard, when you respect the idea that you are sharing the earth with other humans, when you lead with your nice food forward, you'll with every time, it might not be today, it might not be tomorrow, but it comes back to you when you need it. We live in an age of instant gratification, of immediate likes, and it is uncomfortable to have to wait to see the dividends of your kindness, but I promise it will appear exactly when you need it. It will appear to the precious moment when you pass gas in elevator and everyone blames your husband instead of you. That's when the boomerang of kindness hits you back. It's also a very true story numerous times over. Thought it wouldn't be fair if I just wax on about kindness and I didn't also include its inevitable downside. It's relevant to know that sometimes when you choose nice, it does come with a price tag. Being nice sometimes means avoiding the obvious joke. Like for instance, I'm me and I've chosen this path, this speech to be nice at an institution like this. I'm choosing not to reverence on Becky in any way, chef. Thank you. In fact, I'm so nice. I'm not even going to mention my actual own Becky for fear. It's simply too close to the fire, and let me be real, removing these jokes is a bit of sacrifice, but I dare I say prioritizing your emotional intelligence over your logical intelligence can at times feel like a compromise, but it does pay off. You were right to pay off. Not it was not the best choice of word for this particular. I'm not perfect. I'm not perfect, but I'm trying. And you know what, I should have led with that. I'm by no means perfect. I'm also not telling you what to do. I mean, my second child is the result of unprotected makeup, sex in hot tub in the Hawaiian island. I'm in no position to give advice. Hand to God, I can do I can't do it. All I can do is share my experience with you. My husband always says, if you see someone who has what you want, ask them how they got it. Are unfortunately Beyond has yet to reply to my emails, so I don't have all the answer yet. But she will like, don't worry, she's definitely going to. So I'm pretty sure I say this because if there is anything about my life that seems even slightly aspirational, hopefully some of this will be helpful to you, and if not, feel free to slowly pull the flags hiding in your underwear out and just have it. I'm not your mom, you know what I mean? If it's not hurting anyone, great, get yours. And you know what? Maybe share some with your neighbors. Now the tricky things about finding someone who has what you want is it? You also have to know what you want, right? So that's simply enough, but it's actually very hard because our brains are arrogant echoes. The brain thing is running the show, but the heart is secretly pulling string. It's very true. Our brains are the king Javari of our bodies, and our heart are the granny trial, right? Very true. We think we know what we want, but we often have no idea what we need, and because of that, we often approach life with one goal, and we end up finding our real purpose along the way. When I left New York and I came to LA, I had the singular goal of becoming the lead on a TV show. I had gained some experience in New York playing a knife with obsessed sexpot and river madness. I thought, perfect, I'm ready for Los Angeles. Surely I will be embraced immediately, so I have on a plan. I arrived in the land where the streets are soaked in sunshine and soft-turned residue. I had the confidence of an overset freshman at a frat party. I was like, here I am, and I began the process of auditioning, which is really is just condensed way to say driving back and forth to Santa Monica in rush hour traffic. But the feedback that I received was that I was always either too young, too old, too cute, too blind, too smart, too dizzy. It was as if Goldilocks were every casting director, and I just couldn't nail it. And eventually I started booking some co-star and guest star roles, but my comfort lead allowed me, and I would go to bed negotiating with the universe. I will say, okay, if I could just book the lead on CIS and CIS Miami, I promise I will decrease my carbon footprint by at least 6 in the next calendar year. So clearly I know absolutely nothing about the measure of carbon. I find it almost of as confusing as the concept of the Magna Carta, but then it happened. I was cast on Veronica Mars, which was my first show, and everything I everyone was in front of me. I was earning a real paycheck. I was the lead of a TV show. I would the universe all my carbon, but once we start shooting, something very unexpected happened to me. Well, two expected things. The first was Ryan Hans who played the Casablanca's his heart. It was the exact, almost to accurate to one point shot of Sarpabon blonde boy. It was like the kind that gave you PTSD from walking alone. That was speech that you are just like, wow. It was terrifying and I love it. The second was that despite the recognition of my dream, I wasn't happy like at all, but my arrogant little asshole brain could not comprehend what was happening. I was like, how was this possible? This is what I want, and what I need, right? And yet I had it all, and I was lonelier than I had ever been. And it wasn't until the boy with the silver hair invited me to his birthday party after hours upset away from work that everything changed. He wasn't just inviting me to his birthday party, he was inviting me to his live party, to his community, and I finally felt at home. And I made some of the best friends that I still have to this day. It in retrospect, I know it wasn't the role I was looking for. It wasn't paycheck or a titular character I was really needed was friendship. So I want to stress to you both your tribe, they will keep you alive. And I'm also pretty, so that's what Beyonce would say. Speaking of pillars of an American entertainment, it's now the portion of the morning where I remind everyone that life is 50 shades of gray. I had to assume I'm the first speaker in an academic institution that had referenced the book 50 Shades of Grey. But we have already established that I dropped out of college. I have no right to be here. So this where we arrive. I don't know what you want me to do in my life. There was only one concept that I have determined. It's that everything is gray. Every person, every question, every tragedy, even every picture, they all have nuance. Pay attention to the nouns. You all in this room, I will like know that better than anyone. You know it your bones because you devote your time to building story, building people. It's what you do. You are people architect. You read a script and you construct a walking, breathing human from the ground up. When we create character, we are encouraged to make them three-dimensional, right? And acting two-dimensional character, they are at the last boring and at the most extreme is responsible with it. We're told to embrace complicated character. We are taught that you can accurately play a villain until you find one thing about him that you love. One of my favorite producers has a poster over his desk that is what does the film wants. Because in art we recognize all characters start with an empathic motivation on stage. We prioritize listening because we know all the livelihood of the show relies on it. We are good at embracing those things when we make art, but in our daily life, we tend to forget when we shift from the stage to reality. No one seems to get lost in the shovel in real life. We don't look for the one thing we love about each other. A complicated character get cast out and we view things two-dimensional. It's also becoming increasingly apparent we're not listening to each other even though like on stage. The livelihood of this entire grand show relies on it. The great news is we can all choose, right? When hard moment arise, you can lean on the experience you've gleaned in this part for years, and you can choose the nuance. You can choose complexity over simplicity. You can listen to other with over open ears as if your next move different, so that you can send the main in your life. So class of 2019, as you move your pencil from the left to the right and officially take the step forward toward your whatever, I encourage you take them with your nice foot. And if you take away one thing from this, remember what I said earlier, it is not hurting anyone. Great, get yours and maybe share with your neighbors. Thank you and congratulations, Kristen Bell.